long before the wedding gowns, the photographers, and the mansion filled with guests. Maya was just a little girl who never quite belonged. She grew up in a tiny 2-room apartment with her mother, who worked herself to the bone just to pay the rent. Her father? He was a ghost. Her mother never spoke his name, only saying that he was from another world, a world Maya would never understand. Maya didn't know what that meant until she was 6 years old. It was the first day of school. The other kids pointed at her, giggling, calling her names she didn't yet understand. They pulled at her hair, laughed at her lunch, asked why her skin was so dark compared to theirs. That night, Maya came home crying, asking her mother why she looked different. Her mother knelt in front of her and said softly, "You are not different. Maya, you are rare." But rare didn't stop the bullying. Rare didn't stop the stares in the grocery store. Rare didn't stop the parents who didn't want their children sitting next to her. So, Maya learned to be quiet. She learned to be invisible. She learned to swallow her anger. And she learned to fight, not with fists, but with excellence. By the time she reached college, Maya was unstoppable. She was top of her class, graduating with honors despite working nights and weekends to afford tuition. When she landed her first consulting job, she thought maybe, just maybe, life was finally going to be fair. And then she met Aaron. Aaron was everything she wasn't. Tall, charming, from a wealthy family with a last name that opened doors everywhere. When he started pursuing her, Maya resisted at first. Men like him didn't fall for women like her. At least, not seriously. But Aaron was persistent. He took her on long drives, brought her coffee during late-night work sessions, and made her laugh in a way she hadn't laughed in years. For the first time in her life, Maya felt seen. When he proposed, she said yes without hesitation. Maybe, she thought, this was the life her mother had always wanted for her, the life she had worked so hard to give her. But fairy tales don't always last. The first warning came at the engagement dinner. Aaron's aunt leaned over to another relative and said, loud enough for Maya to hear, "She's very pretty, but are we sure about this match?" The words cut through Maya like glass. She told herself it didn't matter. Aaron loved her. That was enough. But deep down, a storm was brewing. As the wedding drew closer, Maya noticed the subtle ways. Aaron's family treated her differently. They never asked about her background, never asked about her late mother, never asked about her work. Instead, they made small but cruel comments, always with a smile. Comments about her dress choices, her food preferences, even the shade of makeup she wore. One night, during a family dinner, Aaron's brother casually said, "Don't take this the wrong way, Maya, but you know our family takes reputation seriously, right? People talk. A lot." Maya smiled politely, but her hands trembled under the table. She started having nightmares, standing at the altar, hearing everyone laugh at her, pointing fingers. On the night of the rehearsal dinner, Maya wore a traditional dress from her culture, a tribute to her mother. When she walked into the room, the laughter stopped. And then someone said, just loud enough, "Oh, so we're doing charity themes now?" Her chest tightened. Aaron didn't say a word. That night, Maya sat alone in her room, staring at her mother's photograph. Her mother's tired eyes seemed to look back at her as if asking, "Is this what you wanted? To fight so hard only to be humiliated?" Maya almost called the wedding off then, but something in her, maybe pride, maybe fear, told her to wait. The next morning, she put on her gown with shaking hands. As she walked down the aisle, the room seemed to close in on her. The whispers, the smirks, the stares, they all came back. And then she heard it, clear as day. "I guess money can't buy taste." Her vision blurred, her heart pounded. And then she stopped walking. Every head in the room turned, Aaron's face paled, and Maya turned around. The room fell silent. Maya's footsteps echoed as she walked back up the aisle, past every shocked face. Outside, the sun hit her face, and for the first time all day, she could breathe. She ripped off the veil, pulled out her phone, and dialed the number she had kept hidden for years, her father's number. When he answered, she didn't cry. She didn't explain. She just said 4 words. Cancel the merger deal. There was silence. Then, a quiet, steady reply. As you wish. Within hours, news outlets reported that the $950 million deal had been called off. Aaron's family panicked. The company's shares plummeted by double digits. By nightfall, they were on every financial news headline, not for their success, but for their spectacular failure. Maya sat in her hotel room, still in her wedding dress, watching the chaos unfold on TV. And for the first time in her life, she smiled. In the weeks that followed, Maya disappeared from the public eye. Aaron called her dozens of times. His mother wrote letters. His father sent lawyers. But Maya never responded. Instead, she moved to a new city, opened her own consulting firm, and slowly built an empire of her own. When journalists eventually discovered the truth that she was the hidden daughter of the billionaire whose signature had made or broken the deal, the internet exploded. Some called her cold, others called her brilliant. But everyone agreed she had changed the game. Months later, standing in her sleek new office, Maya looked out over the city skyline. She wasn't just the girl they had mocked anymore. She wasn't the outsider. She wasn't the one begging for a seat at their table. She was the one building the table. And maybe, she thought, her mother would finally be proud. If you were standing where Maya stood, hearing those whispers, feeling that humiliation, would you have stayed and smiled through the pain, or would you have walked away and set fire to everything they built?